All right, so you ready to dive deep into this whole NBA thing?
I'm ready.
We're going way back,
Okay.
like way back to peach baskets.
All right, like before my time.
Oh yeah, way before, like,
Yeah.
you know those fruit baskets?
Yeah, those ones.
You ready for some wait what moments?
I'm sure there's going to be a few of those.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we're gonna have you looking at the game in a whole new way.
I'm excited.
Yeah, this is gonna be good.
Okay.
So we're not just like, dropping names and dates.
Okay.
It's not like a history lesson here.
Right.
We're talking like the big shifts,
Yeah.
the turning points,
The trends.
the things, even if you just kind of watch basketball, you'll appreciate.
Exactly.
This is like basketball archaeology,
I like that.
right?
Yeah.
Like digging through the layers.
Like, what was the NBA beat on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, remember when you first found out they used to play with soccer balls?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that wild?
It's hard to imagine now.
It really is.
Yeah.
Talk about a different game.
Yeah. Well, it shows just how much the NBA's changed over the years.
It really does.
Since the very beginning.
Like, we think about now, the high flying,
Right.
the fast pace.
The athleticism.
Yeah, and then you think no dribbling.
Right.
Back then.
Yeah.
Those old-timey baskets, it's like a different sport.
It practically was different rules, different equipment.
Totally.
Yeah, a totally different world.
It was a different world.
Yeah, and those leagues back then, the NBL, the BAA, they were nothing like the NBA we know today.
Right. It wasn't always a global thing.
Not at all.
Huh.
I mean, can you imagine explaining to someone back then that people around the world would be watching this?
I know, it's crazy.
It wasn't until they merged in 1949.
Oh, wow. So that recent.
Yeah, pretty recent when you think about it.
Wow.
And that's when the NBA, as we know it, was really born.
So we're talking about a really young league, all things considered.
Yeah, babies.
And the life of an early NBA player.
What about it?
It was a side hustle. Like, we're talking this Norman Glick story still blows my mind.
What is that?
So he played for the Lakers,
Okay.
but he was also a plumber
What? Like at the same time?
at the same time.
No way.
Can you imagine
That's crazy.
walking out of your plumbing gig and heading straight to the court?
That is a different world.
It really puts it into perspective.
It makes you wonder what the NBA was seen as back then.
Right.
It wasn't the career path it is today.
Right. No kidding.
It wasn't like these guys were getting rich and famous off of it.
Definitely not back then.
No.
It really makes you wonder what other hidden talents those early players had, right?
Right.
Like you said, different world.
Yeah.
Maybe they're delivering mail on the side.
Maybe they were teaching physics. Who knows?
Who knows, right?
Yeah.
But then as the NBA started to find its footing,
Hmm.
along came this legend,
Okay.
Bill Russell,
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him.
1956,
Okay.
joins the Celtics.
Celtics, yeah.
11 championships.
11.
11, let that sink in.
I can't even.
No, you can't even fathom that today.
Especially in this era. No way.
No.
Wow.
Talk about leaving your mark on the league.
Yeah, he and the Celtics were something else.
Pure dynasty. And to put it in perspective,
Okay.
that's more championships than any single team has today.
Wow, that's nuts.
Crazy, right?
Wild.
And you can't talk about Bill Russell without talking about Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, yeah.
Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain.
Even the nickname's legendary.
It is. Like, come on.
And the stories about him.
Oh, I know.
Like, did they really happen?
Right.
Scoring 100 points in a game?
Unbelievable.
I mean, those stats, even if they're exaggerated a little bit,
A little bit.
I mean, come on.
The man was larger than life.
Seriously, a true icon.
He really was.
Yeah.
Like, Wilt was a walking highlight reel.
Right.
But with any good story,
What?
there's a plot twist coming.
Really?
It wasn't all sunshine and roses for the NBA back then. Yeah.
What happened?
So the late 60s and 70s, they saw this period that some people call the NBA's dark age.
The Dark Age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had competition from the ABA.
Right. Competing leagues.
You had players struggling with drug problems.
Okay.
And viewership was declining.
So the NBA was hurting.
It was a tumultuous time.
Wow. Makes you appreciate how far it's come.
It does.
So how did they get out of that?
Right. Like, how do they climb out of that dark age?
Yeah. What changed?
Well, 2 words.
Yeah.
Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
Of course, the icons.
Right. The legends.
So their rivalry.
Yeah.
Which actually started back in college.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It reignited the NBA
Really?
and ushered in this whole new era of excitement.
Wow. That's a lot of pressure.
I know, right?
Changing the face of basketball?
Celtics and Lakers.
Bird and Magic.
Those were the matchups everyone lived for.
Everyone.
I mean, it wasn't just their skills on the court,
Right.
which were amazing,
Oh, yeah.
but it was their personalities. face.
Totally opposite.
Their backstory. Right.
Like, basketball was more than just a game. It was this rivalry for the ages.
It was epic.
It was epic.
Yeah, and they changed the game.
They did.
The three-point line.
In 79.
Which, by the way, people thought that was crazy at the
I
time.
know. They were like, why?
Right.
Who's going to shoot from that far?
Exactly.
And this big push for international expansion.
Right, taking the NBA global.
So the NBA was becoming this global force.
What a story.
And as if the league needed even more drama, just as Bird and Magic are cementing their legacies, this young Michael Jordan hits that game-winning shot for North Carolina in '82.
Oh.
Remember that?
Of course.
Tie game final seconds.
Talk about pressure.
You just knew this kid was special.
Like, you could feel it.
Right.
Yeah, like the changing of the guard.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a sign of things to come, but nobody could predict what Michael Jordan would become.
Nobody.
He joins the Bulls in '84.
Yeah.
And it's not just basketball anymore.
It becomes something else entirely.
This is when the man becomes a global icon.
Right. Like, remember those early Nike commercials? Oh, yeah. Be like Mike. Everyone wanted to be like Mike. Everyone. And it wasn't just the shoes. Right. It was the moves, the intensity.
Everything.
He just transcended the sport.
You're right. He influenced everything.
Fashion, music, everything.
But it wasn't all smooth sailing for Jordan, was it?
No, definitely not.
He had that foot injury early in his career.
Right. That was rough.
And then Len Bias,
Oh, man.
drafted by the Celtics, so much promise, and then gone.
It's just tragic. You know?
It really makes you think about the pressure these young guys face.
Oh, yeah. Even when they're at the top of their game.
Even when they're on top of the world.
It was heartbreaking for the league, you know?
Yeah,
A reminder that it can all be gone in an instant.
absolutely.
But Jordan, he came back strong from that
He
injury.
did.
And his global stardom, next level, we're talking next level stuff.
Sneakers, international games, the dream team.
He became synonymous with basketball.
He was basketball.
And, you know, his personal life wasn't always easy either.
Of course.
You know, 1993,
Yeah.
the death of his father.
That was a pivotal moment for him.
It led to his first retirement.
It's hard to imagine what the NBA would have been like without Jordan in those years.
I know, right?
I mean, talk about leaving a void.
And then I'm back.
Just like that.
The league was never the same.
He was back.
But even with his return, a new generation of stars was coming up,
Oh, yeah, they were ready.
each one bringing something new to the game.
Like, who are you thinking?
Kobe, Shaq, AI.
Oh, man, the athleticism, the style.
Right.
Those were good times to watch basketball.
So exciting.
And tattoos and jewelry became a part of the image.
This wasn't your grandpa's NBA anymore.
No, sir.
Kobe with that Mamba mentality.
Intense.
Shaq dominating the paint.
Unstoppable.
AI breaking ankles with those handles.
Oh, yeah.
The league felt electric.
Anything could happen.
And then there was the Shaq and Kobe Lakers dynasty.
Oh, yeah.
3 straight championships.
Pure dominance.
But remember all that drama?
How could you forget?
The clash of egos.
2 superstars, 1 ball.
It was exciting,
Yeah.
but it shows you, even with all that talent,
Right.
you gotta have chemistry.
That's right. It's a team sport.
Exactly.
Right.
And while all this is happening,
None.
this young LeBron James
Okay.
generating serious buzz.
High school LeBron, man.
Remember the hype?
Like, he was already a superstar.
Drafted straight out of high school by his hometown Cavs.
What a story.
Talk about pressure.
So much pressure.
Did he live up to it?
Well, he did lead them to a championship eventually.
He did.
After leaving, then coming back.
That's another story for another day.
Seriously.
But LeBron's career is a testament to his talent
Absolutely.
to face those expectations from such a young age.
And exceed them.
Unbelievable.
Really remarkable.
But those early years,
yeah.
they coincided with a dark chapter for the NBA.
What happened?
The Tim Donaghy scandal,
The ref.
a referee rigging games
Seriously?
for the mob.
You're kidding.
Think about that.
That's insane.
It shook the league to its core,
You can imagine.
made everyone question the integrity of the game.
Right. Like, can you trust what you're seeing?
Exactly.
But what did the NBA do about it?
Well, they took steps to address it.
Like what?
They brought in reforms, increased transparency.
Trying to clean up the game?
It was a difficult time,
For sure.
but it forced the league to look in the mirror.
Confront some hard truths.
And it happened just as players were gaining more power.
Interesting.
Which brings us to the super team era.
Okay, the super teams.
The Celtics kicked it off.
They did.
Ray Allen,
Yeah.
Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce,
The big 3.
and suddenly it was all about stacking the deck.
Get as many stars as you can.
And then LeBron's decision
Might be.
to join Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in Miami.
Wow.
That changed everything.
It did. The balance of power shifted.
It wasn't about teams anymore.
It was about players forming alliances.
Players became kingmakers.
That's right.
If they didn't like their situation,
It could team up with other superstars.
create their own dynasty.
And the owners.
They weren't thrilled.
Yeah, one bit.
This new era of player empowerment.
A new challenge for them.
And it led to the 2011 lockout,
Oh, yeah. That was intense.
a standoff that almost derailed the whole season.
Wow.
Think about the players.
Right? Their careers, their livelihoods on hold?
Some of them even went overseas.
Really?
Like J.R. Smith playing in China.
Can you imagine?
From the NBA to China.
Wild.
Talk about a culture shock.
Seriously.
But the lockout eventually ended.
Thankfully.
A new collective bargaining agreement, a new era.
Wow, what a time.
But it showed how much the business of basketball was changing.
Money talks.
But amidst all this drama,
There's always drama.
a new revolution was brewing,
Okay, tell me more.
led by a baby-faced assassin named Steph Curry,
Steph Curry.
the original logo shot.
From way downtown.
He wasn't just making threes.
Right.
He was making them from another zip code.
He was ridiculous.
And it wasn't just the distance,
False.
the effortlessness,
Right.
the swagger.
Like he wasn't even trying.
It's a whole new style of play.
And it changed the game.
Changed it forever.
How so?
Fast-paced, three-point centric basketball.
Wow.
Teams had to adapt or get left behind.
He really did redefine what was possible.
He did.
And his rivalry with LeBron,
Oh, man.
those Warriors-Cavs finals matchup.
Back-to-back finals, the Warriors
Some
dynasty,
unbelievable run.
LeBron willing the Cavs to that historic comeback in 2016.
What a series.
Talk about a golden age for basketball fans.
It really was something else.
But then
What happened?
the world changed.
Oh, yeah.
2020, the pandemic,
Right. COVID.
everything just stopped.
The NBA, too.
Everything.
Wow.
No games, no crowds, just this uncertainty.
It was a strange time.
It really was.
And then
And then the
the bubble.
Disney World empty arenas.
Players isolated from the world.
It felt like a movie.
Like a weird sports movie.
Yeah. But weirder.
Totally. It was a wild experiment, though.
It was
The NBA trying to make it work.
adapting.
Yeah,
But it showed the human toll, too.
of course.
The isolation, the anxiety, even for these athletes.
It wasn't easy for anyone.
And in the middle of all that,
Yeah.
LeBron and the Lakers win it all.
They did it.
But the seasons after that,
What about them?
full of surprises.
Really? Like what?
Like the Bucks,
Giannis?
Giannis leading them to a championship.
Their first in 50 years?
50 years. Can you believe it?
That's incredible.
A small market team defying the odds.
You love to see it?
And then LeBron facing an early exit,
Other time.
his dominance challenged.
A new generation.
And KD's shoe size becoming a meme
Oh, man.
after a tough loss.
The internet never forgets.
It felt like things were shifting.
The balance of power.
Exactly.
And those international players,
right.
Giannis, Jokic, Embiid,
They weren't just participating anymore.
they were taking over.
MVP awards, deep playoff runs.
The league was changing.
It's a global game now more than ever.
No doubt about it.
And as we look at the NBA today,
What do you see?
it's a crossroads.
How so?
You've got these huge names.
Okay.
LeBron, Durant, Curry, Chris Paul,
The legends.
but they're all in the later stages of their careers.
Father Time is undefeated.
He is undefeated.
Right.
So it makes you wonder, what's next?
The big question.
Who takes over?
Who carries the torch?
What will the league look like in 5, 10, 20 years?
It's exciting to think about.
It really is.
How many possibilities?
New generation of players coming up,
Ready to make their mark?
expansion teams, maybe a 4-point line,
Wow.
and dare I say it,
What?
robots on the court.
You never know.
From peach baskets to a global
I
phenomenon,
like the journey.
the NBA has survived it all,
Scandals, lockouts, a pandemic.
and through it all, it's still relevant, still exciting.
And always full of surprises.
Always. What about you? What surprised you the most digging into all this?
You know, for me, it's the stories, the rivalries, the triumphs, the heartbreaks.
It's what keeps us coming back.
Exactly.
It's more than just a game.
That's right.
It's a reflection of us,
Our culture, our dreams.
our shared human experience.
I like that.
And on that note,
Okay.
we'll leave you with this.
What's that?
The NBA story isn't over.
It's still being written.
What will your chapter be?
That's a good question.
What will you contribute to this incredible game?
Think about it, everyone.
We'll see you in the next deep dive.